The exterior is defined by its bold, sharp lines with almost every bend or crease precariously angled just right, like the design was simply meant to be. If I had to choose one word to describe the t-roc, it would be sharp. And it's exactly that. The exterior is defined by its bold, sharp lines with almost every bend or crease precariously angled just right, like the design was simply meant to be. The front grille, while hardly functional, covers nearly the entire nose with its stretched out hexagonal shape that plays into the inner angles of the headlights smoothly. The entire nose is outlined with chrome, but it's not all one piece, as the chrome strips in the headlights provide the upward transition and angle back toward the top of the grille. It's a nice touch, to say the least. Down below, the massive air dam takes up a good majority of the front fascia, but, unlike the upper grille, actually supports air pass-through into the engine compartment. The pair of concave fake vents sit in the middle corners of that fascia and are outlined with a thick lead strip, while a pair of fog light units sit in the lower corners to provide some low-level visibility when things get a little cloudy. Up higher, the hood displays the pair of thick, curved body lines that elevate from the base where the fenders and A-pillars meet, while a smaller line just to the inside provides a 3D effect on the hood. Massive fender flares make up the front wheel arches and also feature similar body lines follow the contour. While the fender flares don't lead into the side profile higher up, they do lead into the concave section at the bottom of the doors. That creates a smooth, recessed rectangle between the front fenders and the rear quarters. To the rear quarters are far less pronounced and only feature the sharp contour line to go with a mild crease that is in line with the crease that resides above the door handles. Above the waistline, the t-roc has a completely unique look compared to its larger siblings, the Touareg and the Tiguan. The roof is graded with a slight slant to the rear, while a chrome strip encompasses the top of the doors as well as the upper and rear sides of the C-pillar. Unfortunately, the t-roc doesn't seem to have that removable roof as seen in the original concept. However, it does prove better functionality with the luggage bars up top. Unfortunately, the t-roc doesn't seem to have that removable roof as seen in the original concept. However, it does prove better functionality with the luggage bars up top. The black trim that traverses across the edges of the roof and leads into the rather large overhang on the rear hatch matches the body cladding below perfectly and with style. What's really important to note here is that the C-pillar is angled strongly toward the front of the vehicle, which means the stationary rear glass on the side is integrated into the door as opposed to the rear quarter. It is shaped like a triangle and does make for a much smaller window if you want the rear windows down, but it looks great from the outside, so it may be a fair trade-off. Around back, the t-roc is kind of two-faced. See, if you look straight on, it actually appears as if the rear end is almost vertical. But that's just your eyes playing tricks on you, because if you look at it from a different angle, you can see the hatchback-like design of the rear hatch. This is unique to most vehicles, especially in the compact segment, and it goes to show how much work VW put into designing the t-roc from the very start. With that hatchback-like look back here, there's a lot of attention-grabbing styling cues that really make it stand out. First off, the upper overhang is angled upward just a bit, which casts just a small shadow on the rear glass. The overall width of the car is more evident than ever back here thanks to the sharp lines that run horizontally between the tail lights and just below the lights. The shape of the tail lights are fairly common, but the matrix layout inside almost reminds me an old logo from the Forza game series. Down below, the body cladding from the sides gets much taller in the center, providing just enough room on the outsides for a pair of fake vents with integrated reflectors. The exhaust outlets appear to be integrated just below those, as part of the body cladding with a nice chrome garnish on top. Finally, the grey trim accent provides a sporty look that is pretty rare in the compact crossover segment as well. Looking at a glance, I would almost assume this was a Mercedes cabin just based on the layout and look of the materials. The interior of the t-roc is definitely a big step away from what we normally see in VW production vehicles and obviously very well thought out. Of course, trim accenting like you see here isn't exactly new. We were doing it long before the automakers decided to, and back then it was at least unique. When it comes to the t-roc, however, the trim accenting adds a nice touch, and it helps to emphasize just how upscale the cabin really is. I mean, looking at a glance I would almost assume this was a Mercedes cabin just based on the layout and look of the materials. You won't find as much leather or soft touch surfaces, but it's clean with a good fit and finish, and to be honest, probably quite comfortable too. You really can't not fall in love with the deliberate lines of the interior, the way the dash is slated just a bit toward the passenger side, the way the overhang above the instrument cluster stands so prominently, the elegant lines that make up all the character of the door trim panels and lower dash. It's all attractive and a breath of fresh air. And there's lots of space too. With the rear seats in the upright position, you get 15.71 cubic feet 445 liters of cargo room up to the top of the backrests of the rear seats. Lay down the seat backs, which can be done in a 60-40 split, and that space more than doubles to 45.55 cubic feet 1,290 liters. That's not glass topping, but it comes pretty close. It's not all about visual appeal and comfort inside the t-roc, as there's plenty of modern technology too. To start off, the base model gets a 6.5-inch infotainment display that is touch-enabled. Moving up to a different trim level or selecting the right option box will get you an 8-inch touchscreen with a CD player. No CD player for the base model, while a range-topping model gets the Discover Media 8-inch system with navigation. Both 8-inch systems offer an all-glass screen like most modern smartphones, tablets, and high-end laptops. Ahead of the driver sits an 11.7-inch digital instrument cluster that looks very upscale for this segment. And ahead of the driver sits an 11.7-inch digital instrument cluster that looks very upscale for this segment. It offers up your basic driver information but can also be used to control your phone and media library separate from the infotainment system via the controls on the steering wheel, of course. Meanwhile, if you want to have app Connect services via things like Microlink, Apple CarPlay, or Android Auto, you'll need to opt for the larger infotainment systems. You can opt for VW's Security and Services package. An inductive charging area is also available ahead of the gear shifter, but you'll need to opt for the Comfort package for this functionality. Moving up to the upper trim lines will yield you a few extra goodies not found in the base model. First off, the style will give the option to select 4 trim accent colors along with the comfort seats, driver alert system, and door skins in chrome. You'll also get reading lights and footwell lighting should be base equipment in my opinion, and there's also white ambient lighting with the style trim. Move up to the Sport, and you'll get aluminum pedals, red ambient lighting, sport comfort seats, chrome door skins, and a black roof liner. It's not too bad and does offer up some options for customizing as well. Interior color options for the Sport include caribou gray, while the style trim gives the option of black oak brown, Ravenna blue, energetic orange metallic, and curcuma yellow metallic. As if there wasn't enough going on outside and inside the new t-roc, there's also a lot going on under the metal, with plenty of drivetrain configurations to choose from. If you're into petrol-drinking motivators, you'll find yourself deciding between a 1.0-liter, 1.5-liter, or a 2.0-liter. The baby engine is good for just 113 horsepower and 147 pound-feet of torque. This is the base offering, however, so the lack of power shouldn't be all that surprising, with the fact that you're limited to front-wheel drive and a 6-speed manual transmission. Moving up to a model with the 1.5-liter gasoline mill-will net you 147 ponies and 184 pound-feet of twist. It's not much more, but you do get more configuration options with this engine. In its most basic configuration, you get FWD and a 6-speed manual transmission. However, you can all-so opt for a 7-speed DSG gearbox that can be configured as FWD or with VW's 4Motion permanent all-wheel drive system. Finally, 2.0-liter comes with a fair 187 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque. This engine can only be paired with that 7-speed DSG tranny and comes with AWD as standard. Now, those gasoline options aren't bad, but if you need more torque, not that you'll be pulling anything too big with a compact crossover. Anyway, you'll need to step up to the TDI lineup that includes a 1.6-liter unit and 2.0-liter unit in 2 different flavors and 5 different configurations. The 1.6-liter is a basic diesel offering and is comparable to the 1.0-liter gasoline engine. It offers the same 113 horsepower, but delivers a bit more torque at 184 pound-feet, not surprising for a diesel engine, right? That particular engine is limited to the 6-speed manual and FWD, so if you want the DSG or AWD, you need to step up to the 2.0-liter. The TDI can be equipped with either the 6-speed manual or 7-speed DSG, with both configurations available in FWD or AWD. In this form, it delivers 147 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque, 14 pound-feet more than a range-topping gasoline engine. But there's more, as the 2.0-liter is also offered with a bit more power at 187 horsepower and 295 pound-feet. That is the range-topping configuration, however, and can only be had with a WD and a 7-speed DSG. As far as towing capacity and actual performance specs go, VW has yet to enlighten us. But that's not generally something that matters much in a compact crossover like this anyway, even if it does look like a sports car on the inside. As far as 0 to 60 miles per hour goes, expect to see maybe an 8-second sprint at best, while towing capacity is likely limited to 1,000 pounds at most, with the range-topping diesel potentially offering as much as 1,500 pounds. Of course, that's speculation, so take that with a grain of salt until we get official specs when the t-roc launches. Driver assistance systems. Some automakers will make you pay extra for any kind of assistance system, but, fortunately, that isn't the case with the t-roc. See, Volkswagen has decided to include some assistance systems as standard equipment. These include city emergency braking, front assist monitor with pedestrian monitoring, lane keep assist, and automatic post-collision braking should an accident actually occur. With that in mind, there's also a fairly large list of extra add-ons that you can choose from as well. As far as pricing goes, we're still unsure, but chances are these systems will be offered up in several different packages. Pricing: the t-roc will be VW's smallest SUV offering and will slot in the lineup below the Tiguan. Based on the current market, where models like the Mazda CX-3, Honda HR-V, Jeep Renegade, Nissan Juke and Chevy Trax all start out between $19,000 and $21,000, it's possible that the t-roc will carry a similar starting price as well. But VW's Tiguan currently starts out at $24,995. And this brand is notorious for thinking that it's more premium than it really is. So a starting price of $22,000 to $23,000 isn't exactly out of the question either. We'll have to wait until market launch to know for sure. But until then, I'd say that is a fair estimate.